So I'm here with Luke from the Horsham Cellar.
Hello.
In the Carfax in Horsham. What a gorgeous shop it is you've got here.
Thank you very much.
Really lovely. And how long have you been here now?
So we're coming up for 2 years now.
Oh.
So the big Nibble, if it had happened physically this year, would have been our second anniversary.
Okay, lovely. Well, I mean, I've been wandering around and you've got some fantastic wines and indeed, what a selection of spirits as well.
Thank you very much.
You're incredibly knowledgeable about wine, and I would like to think that people will come in and learn from you as well as having a recommendation. But you've got a lot of Sussex Vineyards covered in the shop, haven't you?
Yes, I do, and in fact that's set to expand even more actually over the coming months. But we're making some of the best wine in the world, particularly sparkling wine in this country, and in this county. More than, I won't say more than any other, but Kent, Sussex, Surrey, Hampshire, other counties towards the southwest as well. But there's a real sort of belt of quality, and Sussex is right in the heart of it. I
mean, there's quite often said that some of our sparkling wines from here will outshine some of the French champagnes. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, 100%. And a lot of producers don't set out necessarily to try and say, our aim is to beat champagne. It just happens. And I think and it's customers who end up voicing that by repeat purchasing English. I sell a lot more English sparkling here than I do champagne, for example, and I think that's because people genuinely prefer the product.
How interesting!
And
I think what people often thought at the beginning of this sort of English sparkling journey, particularly that they should be cheaper than the champagne because they were inferior. But of course, they're small producers. Their quality is second to none, and I think that is actually people are beginning to understand now that you get what you pay for.
Definitely, you do, and in fact, a lot of the products, both still and sparkling, are good value for what they are because you're getting so much complexity, richness, flavour, and to get a comparable from elsewhere in Europe, you are spending the same, if not more. So, as you said, and the size of the product, particularly with still wines, we make. Much smaller. So the vineyards tend to be smaller, so we make much smaller quantities. So there's an economy of scale there, but there's more character to the wine for sure.
Yeah. You've got a great selection of local beers too in here. So, and again, I mean, there's been breweries popping up all over the place, but with a real range of different beers. It's they're not. You can have a dozen very different experiences from
you can, and just from West Sussex as well. I think even just in Horsham district alone, there's something like 14 or 15 microbreweries.
Wow.
And I've tried to support as many as possible actually with the range. And the beer range does expand further afield, but most of our beers are from Sussex. And as you rightly say, you can range from a crisp citrusy Belgian style saison, say from Burning Sky, right through to a rich chocolatey malty porter from Harvey's and Lewis, and everything else in between.
The gins as well. I mean, gins have had an absolute expanded beyond belief. I mean, and there's a lot of craft and artisan gin makers out there. We've got a fantastic range of different styles and different types. But I'm hearing that rum is the next big gin. Is that? Would you agree with that?
I hear it a lot, particularly from people in the trade. Actually, they say rum is going to be the next big thing. And there's the gin. Hopefully, it's not a bubble as such, but the gin bubble certainly doesn't show any sign of shrinking right now. There's still a lot of love for gin out there, gin and tonics, Negronis, that sort of thing. But I am definitely seeing more interest in rum, and rum is a fascinating category and hugely complicated, and much like gin where you can infuse different flavours with different botanicals, rum origins have a huge impact on the flavour. So the different Caribbean islands all have their own characters, how long they're aged in wood, what sort of wood they're aged in, all have a huge impact on flavours. So when you start exploring rum, you realise it's not just white, dark and spiced. There's as much complexity in rum, if not more, than, in fact, I'd say definitely more than gin. So it'll take a while to build as people find the styles they like, but it looks exciting.
I think it's fascinating that people are showing such an interest. It's not just gin or rum or whiskey, that they're really beginning to learn a huge amount. You must find that really quite satisfying when you can actually share your knowledge.
I really do. And I'd say by and large people often love to ask for a recommendation or a bit of advice, and it's great to be able to show people some fabulous products, be that from England or further afield. But it's so true. I think more than ever people are interested in the provenance, and if they're interested in quality and provenance, and if you can tile that up and show some products from which we make here and support the Sussex economy as well. It's
well,
fantastic.
I have to say the people from around this area are very lucky to have this font of knowledge on their doorstep. Do you hold any events or tastings or anything in the Horsham Cellar?
Yes, we do, and they've been a hugely important part of our business since launch. In fact, obviously we've had to put a bit of a halt on our personal social tastings that we do here over the current period, but that will come back, and I can't wait for it to come back. Best thing to do is to join our mailing list. There's a link to do that on the front of our website, thehorshamcellar.co.uk, and you'll get to receive a calendar of events. Typically we do 2 evenings a month on a Thursday or Friday night, and we start with a welcome drink up here in the shop, a glass of local fizz often, and then we head downstairs to the bespoke tasting room. We've got a lovely massive oak table. It's a very social atmosphere for 12 people to enjoy a selection of wines. We've done gin tastings, rum tasting will be on the cards for the new year. We've done a Meet the Brewer night, a beer tasting from Good Things. The head brewer came down here and showcased all his beers.
Wow.
They're a very, very good fun social evening, and we taste through typically at least 6 wines downstairs, and it could be wines of Spain, or it could be sparkling wines of Sussex, or it could be wines of Australia, whatever the theme might be. We've also invested in a Wine Emotion wine sampling machine, and it keeps wine in perfect condition after the bottles have been opened, so it allows us to put a weekly changing range of 3 whites, 3 reds in the machine, knowing they won't deteriorate, and customers can come in and vend themselves either small samples of the changing range, or a full glass if they want to have a glass or 2 before going off for dinner somewhere. And it was becoming incredibly popular. So at the moment we're having to change how that works, and I've just invested in these fabulous little miniature wine bottles.
Wow.
So people can actually take the wine tasting experience home with them. So it'll be the 3 whites, 3 reds in a bag with the printout sheet of the tasting notes, so they can take it home and taste the 6 wines at their leisure at home.
Fantastic. Well, and what brought you to Horsham? Why Horsham for starting your business?
My wife's from Horsham, so Horsham's really the only place we wanted to open our business, my wife and I. It's a market town which is well supported by the people who live here, and there was a gap for an independent wine and spirit merchant in the heart of Horsham, so we are delighted to have filled it.
So have you had this dream of owning your own shop for a very long time?
For years, in fact. My very first job in the trade was selling in Selfridge's wine and spirits department, and then I worked for big importers. We got to travel all over the world with that. And but for the last for 5 years before starting this business, all I ever really thought about was doing my own thing and having my own shop. And I know a lot of transactions are moving online for lots of things, but you can't taste wine online.
No.
And there's something to be said about coming in and experiencing it. It's a nice purchase, a luxury purchase. It's something you should enjoy buying as much as drinking. So
yeah. And tapping into your wealth of knowledge as well that you've accumulated over many years. I mean, it's invaluable.
The whole ethos here is to have a range of memorable wines. So whether you're spending £7 on your bottle or £70 on your bottle, I would just want you to remember it and as being a really enjoyable glass of wine or beer or G&T.
Well, wish you loads of luck in the future, and hopefully your first 2 years is going to lead to great things in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Luke.